Let us pray. O God, the creator and the sustainer of all that is, we thank you, O God, for Ezekiel Gillespie, who took his case to the highest court in the state and won the right to vote for African-American men in Wisconsin in 1866. O God, our God, we thank you for Theodora Yeoman and Anna James, who worked to secure the right to vote for women in federal elections in 1919 and state elections in 1934 in Wisconsin. We thank you, O God, for the Milwaukee Youth Council and the voter rallies of 1967. We thank you, O God, for those who work in this present age against voter suppression. We thank you, O God, for those names we know to call and the names lost to history. We thank you, O God, for those who sacrifice much and those who sacrifice everything for our right to vote. Merciful and gracious God, we acknowledge that we have not always been good stewards of the blood-bought right to vote. We bewail the manifold sins and the pain and suffering of those who have sacrificed, who have been silenced by our negligence. We confess our indifference, which nurtures systematic poverty produced by unjust policies. O God of hope and justice, not the God of just us, but the God of justice, obtained by rectifying inequalities of the disadvantaged and eliminating conditions that produce injustice. O God of courage and power, energize us to encourage others to honor the sacrifices of the ancestors and vote. O God of grace and mercy, compel us to vote in the tradition of the prophets who remind us of the repercussions of our treatment of the foreigner, the sojourner, the widows, the orphans, the poor, and those we treat as the other. O God of love and joy, empower us to live, work, vote, and volunteer, remembering, just as you did to the least of these, you did it unto me. O God of peace and power, when acts meant to terrorize us into inaction, when acts meant to paralyze us with fear invade the morning news and invades our hearts and minds, we declare we will not be silent. Oh God, hear the cries of your people. And God of peace, God of joy, God of hope, God of love, God of justice, rest, rule, and abide with the hearts and minds of your people. And the people said, amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance by Joe McGonigal.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Please follow me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the national anthem sung by Lex Allen.
Hi, Milwaukee. How are y'all doing today? I want to thank you for coming to see me. My name is Barack Obama. I'm just kidding. Yeah, this is an honor, it's a privilege, and I'm just going to do it so I can go shake off back there. So here we go. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, was so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you, Milwaukee. Have a great day.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Janice Luke.
All right, good afternoon, Milwaukee. I said good afternoon, Milwaukee. My name is Jay Luke, and I am a field organizer with Tammy and Tony's campaigns right here in Milwaukee. I am here because this may be one of the most important elections of our lifetimes. So I'm asking, no, I am begging you to get out the vote and to help your friends, family members, neighbors, cousins, everyone you know to do the same. I'm voting and spending long hours encouraging others to vote for three main reasons. The first, to honor the past. Second, to acknowledge the challenges of the present. And third, to make a commitment for the future. When I think of honoring the past, I think of my ancestors giving their lives for my right to vote today. To sit on the sidelines now would be to disrespect their legacy and their hopes that future generations would have it better than they did. They compel me to vote this November. When I think of the challenges of the present, I think of Senator Tammy Baldwin's focus on taking the opioid crisis head on and supporting rehabilitative practices for mental health and substance abuse. A challenge we all know has impacted our communities deeply. Your vote moves us one step closer to solving these challenges. I think of Tammy fighting to protect our health care and lower costs. She does right by Wisconsin no matter what it takes, no matter what powerful interest stands in the way. That's the kind of fighter we need for Milwaukee. And I vote as a commitment to my future. The future is ours to control, and we must denounce tax cuts that only help the wealthiest among us. We need a fighter who will secure health care and Social Security for generations to come. And we must secure that right to choose and the right to live our lives authentically no matter who we love or if we conform to gender norms or not. And we can do all of this and more just by re-electing Tammy Baldwin this election cycle. That's the future she offers us. But none of this will happen on its own. We do not honor the past or acknowledge the challenge of the present or secure our future by sitting on the sidelines this election. That's why I need two things from all of you. First, I need all of you to go out and vote for Tammy and Tony and Mandela and all the Democrats up and down the ticket. And you know what? The good news is you don't have to wait. Early voting locations are open all over Milwaukee right now and will be every day, including weekends, until Sunday, November 4th. If you have any questions, you can go to myvotewi.gov. So don't wait to make history. And the second thing I really need you all to do is to volunteer. Even for just a few hours between now and Election Day, it's only literally picking up a clipboard or a phone and talking to others in our community that we can make sure everyone is ready to vote in this election cycle. To sign up, just talk to one of the many people here with clipboards. Organizers, raise your hands. Raise your hands so everyone can see you. Awesome. And they'll give you all the information you need. So, who in here is voting for Tammy? Raise your hand. Who in here is voting for Tony? And for the Democrats? All right, well, please keep your hands up. Organizers, find all these people and sign them up for a shift, okay? So sign up for a shift and share your story so we can ride that blue wave. Thank you, Milwaukee.
Ladies and gentlemen, Milwaukee Mayor Tom Barrett.
Hello, Wisconsin. Are you ready? Welcome. Welcome to North Division, home of the Blue Devils. Let's give them a round of applause. So here's the goal. The goal is to get everybody so super charged up and excited that you're going to spend the next 10 days, 12 days out there getting people to vote. So you're going to hear some great speakers, some great candidates talking about why we should vote for them. But I'm here to deliver the somber message about voting in Wisconsin and voting in Milwaukee. If you had been up, like I was, at 1 a.m., in November of 2016, you remember what they were saying on national TV. They were saying it's coming down to 3 states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and we all know what happened. Donald Trump won Wisconsin by 22,000 votes. And we can boo, but as the Obamas say, don't boo, vote. Don't boo, vote. Don't boo, vote. So here's what happened right here in Milwaukee. 22,000 votes was a difference between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Here in Milwaukee, 45,000 fewer people voted in 2016 than 2012. That's the somber news. 45,000 fewer people voted right here. And we know that there were barriers that were constructed to make it harder for people to vote. But I've gone to 25 high schools to talk about the importance of voting this fall. And what I've said to those 18-year-olds is, I don't know about you, but if someone's making it harder for me to do something or tells me I can't do it, I'm going to show you and I'm going to do it. So even though there are barriers, we can still match the vote that we had in this community in 2012 when Barack Obama's name was on the ballot. And that is our goal. That is our goal. It's up to us. It is up to us to get our neighbors, our friends, people who have not voted to vote. But we know this isn't done in a vacuum. We know that there has to be a reason for them to vote. And that's where we're blessed because our slate of candidates is so strong. Tammy Baldwin, the work that she's done for Buying American, for opioids, for the middle class. Tony Evers, who wants a middle class tax cut. Tony Evers, who understands the importance of infrastructure. Tony Evers, who understands the importance of education. That's what it's about. It's about Josh Call, who's a great prosecutor and deserves our support. About Gwen Moore, Tom Palzowitz. We have great candidates up and down. Sarah, you name it, we've got great candidates. And it's about the issues, but it's about us. We the people. We the people. So let's get charged up, let's get out there, and let's make this a November we can be proud of and remember. Thank you very much. Thank you. I would now like to bring up my partner, Chris Abele, the County Executive for Milwaukee County. Let's hear it for Chris Abele.
All right, everybody who's here knows the big issues that this election is about wherever you are in this state. Even if you're not talking about it every day, it is about a women's right to choose. Even if you're not talking about it every day, it is about the Affordable Care Act and whether people who deserve coverage get it. Even if you're not talking about it every day, it's about LGBT rights at every level. I want to talk about an issue that's specific to the city and the county I call home and I love, and that's something that not everybody is aware of. Everybody in this room, if you live in this county and you've had the sense in the last 10 years or so that you're paying a little bit more in taxes, you're not wrong, you're right. If you also have the sense that you're not getting as much back from the state as you're sending in, you're not wrong, you're right. Over the last 10 years, we have sent the state of Wisconsin almost $500 million a year more. Anybody want to guess how much we're getting back? I'll give you a hint. It's less than $500 million. For the county, our transit funding from the state is about the same level it was when Governor Jim Doyle was in office. It's aid flat. Our court aids, our community aids, again and again, this is how we fund government. They've stayed flat. We've given more. We obviously, everybody gets, we need to support the state. But we are the economic engine of the state. And if you care about education and you care about health care and you care about empowering every single member, every single citizen that lives in this county, we need a governor who will see Milwaukee as a partner. A governor who gets, as goes Milwaukee, so goes the state of Wisconsin. We have never had a better opportunity to get that governor than we do right now, and everybody in this room knows how important it is. So, as my friend the mayor said, you're all going to vote, but we need to do more than that. Everybody has to call everybody they know and a whole lot of people you don't know and say, if you do no other favor for me this year, get out and vote for Democrats down the line, for Tony, for Mandela, for Josh, who will be an amazing AG, and frankly, an AG who's a little clearer on the Constitution, for our great Senator Tammy Baldwin, and all the way down, but we have to vote. But here's the thing. We also have something that we didn't have last time, not quite as much. We've got momentum. The primary, as you all know, we turned out a lot more than we did last cycle. We don't have to just maintain that. We have to turn it up. And if we do, we win. So go vote. And now I get to introduce a good friend, your next State Secretary of the Treasurer, Sarah Godlewski. Sarah is a rock star. And Sarah is in government because she cares about government and believes that we have one focus and one alone, and it isn't our political career, it's you. And if you don't think the treasurer can make an impact, I am here to tell you I don't think I've ever been as impressed with somebody running for almost any office ever as I am with Sarah. So, Sarah Godlewski.
Give it a round of applause for your county executive, Chris Avely. All right, hello, Wisconsin. Are you ready to take back our state? Oh, thank goodness. That makes two of us. So, my name is Sarah Godlewski, and I am running to be your next state treasurer. You might have heard about the treasurer earlier this year because it was on the ballot. Our governor tried to get rid of the state treasurer because checks and balances are so overrated. Who needs them? Well, I will tell you, I was completely appalled that they were going to remove this office, and I became a founder of the Save Our Fiscal Watchdog Ballot Committee, and I'm proud to say we stopped the power grab on April 3rd with 62% of the vote. A landslide in Wisconsin. So now we have an opportunity to make sure this office works for all Wisconsinites. And I will tell you, as someone who has been in business and finance my entire career, there are three things this office should be doing for you on day one. The first is it should be your fiscal watchdog. You might have heard about the $47 million missing from the transportation budget, or the $600,000 of overcharges in Medicaid, or a company called Foxconn. I mean, these are our tax dollars, and enough is enough. And as your state treasurer, I'll be the watchdog for your hard-earned tax money. This is ridiculous. The second thing is that this office should be your fiscal advocate. Do you remember the Wells Fargo situation that happened when they were kicking people off of their loans and they were raising your interest rates without even warning you? State treasurers around the country were stepping up and saying, you can't treat our people like this. Guess what we did in the state of Wisconsin? We did nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I will tell you, seniors, veterans, and vulnerable populations across this state are being taken advantage of, and this must stop. And the third thing that this office should be doing is investing in Wisconsin's future. The treasurer oversees investments of 4 trust funds worth over $1.2 billion. One of the investments I would make is in refinancing student loans. Anybody have any student loan debt out there? Student loan debt impacts over 1 million Wisconsinites, and interest rates were up to 15% last year. And here's the thing, is you can't refinance your student loans like you can a mortgage. I will tell you, as your state treasurer, I will help you refinance your loans to less than like 5% of the rate, and literally it's a higher performing than the trust funds. This is exactly the win-win type of investment solutions that we need. Now look, as kind of the finance nerd on the ticket, I will tell you, special interests and corporations are spending millions against us in this election. But you know what we've got? People power. And it's people that win elections. So let's make sure we elect everybody up and down this ticket, from Tammy and Mandela and Tony and Josh and all of your great assembly candidates, all your great state senator candidates, because we need to win on November 6th. Are you with me? All right, Wisconsin, let's do this. And with that, I am going to introduce my good friend, your next Attorney General, Josh Kaul. Please give a round of applause.
Hello, everybody. It's great to be here. I'm Josh Kaul, the Democratic nominee for Attorney General. I grew up in Oshkosh and Fond du Lac in a family that was deeply involved in public service. I scored 1 touchdown as the fullback for the Fondy Cardinals football team. It was from 1 yard out, but it counts as a touchdown all the same. I've also spent part of my career in public service. I was a federal prosecutor in one of the most dangerous cities in the country. I prosecuted drug traffickers, gang members, and murderers, and worked to make communities safer. I've also gone to court to challenge laws that restrict access to voting, including here in Wisconsin. I'm a husband, I'm a dad, and I want my family and families across Wisconsin to live in a state that is safer and stronger than we're on track for right now. And there is so much that an effective Attorney General can do to help us move in the right direction. I think we need new leadership when it comes to fighting crime and getting justice for Wisconsinites. We need to start responding to our opioid epidemic like the crisis it is, and that includes electing an AG who's going to hold the pharmaceutical companies accountable for their role in this epidemic. We need an AG who understands that eliminating our backlog of untested rape kits should have been a priority from day one, and who's going to make it a priority to get justice for survivors of sexual assault. And we need to do more to keep our schools as safe as we can. You may have heard that my opponent has suggested that we consider arming teachers. He's criticized gun-free school zones. I think we need some common sense gun safety measures like universal background checks and a ban on bump stocks. We also need an Attorney General who is going to be serious about even-handedly enforcing the laws that protect our environment and consumers here in Wisconsin. In 2018 in Wisconsin, no parent should have to worry about the safety of the water that their kids are drinking. And when polluters break the law and make a mess, they should expect to be held accountable. And then we need an AG who's going to stand up for the rights and protections of Wisconsinites, who's going to stand up against public corruption, who's going to ensure that Foxconn lives up to the terms of the deal that it struck, and who is going to fight for our rights and protections if the federal government tries to roll them back. You know, my opponent is one of the leaders right now of a lawsuit that's seeking to invalidate the Affordable Care Act. If that suit is successful, protections for people with pre-existing conditions will be eliminated. Health insurance companies would once again be able to deny coverage on the basis of a pre-existing condition. Young adults would lose the guarantee that they can remain on their parents' coverage until they turn 26. And the Congressional Budget Office estimates that more than 30 million Americans would become uninsured if the major components of the Affordable Care Act are struck down. Well, as Attorney General, I'm going to fight to expand access to affordable health insurance coverage here in Wisconsin, and I'm going to seek to withdraw the state of Wisconsin from that lawsuit. That suit is a waste of tax dollars, and as you may have heard, my opponent has wasted tax dollars on a few occasions. He spent about $83,000 of our tax money on promotional materials. That includes money spent on promotional stress balls, money spent on custom-made fortune cookies, which I didn't even know existed until this campaign, and he spent about nearly $10,000 of taxpayer money on fake gold-plated coins with his name on them. Now, I have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old, and in my household, if you're going to spend money on fake coins, they better have chocolate inside or you're going to be in serious trouble. But in all seriousness, our Attorney General in his first 2 years in office spent nearly $10,000 on fake coins, and only 9 of the kits in our rape kit backlog were tested. That is the definition of misplaced priorities. So we need new leadership in our Attorney General's office. And we need new leadership in our governor's office and our state treasurer's office. There's going to be a lot of money spent, there already has been, by Republican campaigns and by outside groups. And what we need to do is keep working to get our message out. So I want to encourage everybody here, please get out and vote. Let's bring a change of direction to the state of Wisconsin. And with that, I have the privilege of introducing your next Lieutenant Governor, Mandela Barnes.
How are we feeling today? How are we feeling today? I think we need to act like Barack Obama is in town today. I think we need to act like our president is back. So I want to thank you all so much for being here. It is just such a joy to see so many beautiful faces in the crowd on a day like today when we have 11 days to go. We have 11 days to go before we send Scott Walker packing and end this era of divide and conquer in the state of Wisconsin. As a proud Milwaukee Public School graduate, it is an honor to be on this stage. It's an honor to share the stage with such amazing leaders who want to take this state in the right direction. And, you know, a lot of people don't think about a treasurer's election and what that means. But to see Sarah Godlewski run for this office with so much passion, she fought to save the office, and now she's going to work to bring integrity back to it. So we need to make sure. We need to make sure that we are voting for Democrats up and down the ballot. Let me tell you this. When you get your ballot, any Democrat you see, you check that name. And Josh Call, your wonderful introduction to me, I truly appreciate it. I actually met Josh Call when I was a state representative. And I met Josh Call because he was working on challenging our state's voter ID law. Josh Call worked to fight voter disenfranchisement. He worked to fight voter suppression. Think about the day when we'll have an attorney general who wants to expand voting rights, not take them away from people. So thank you, Josh Call. And now we get to the good part. Me. No, just joking. just joking. I'm just joking. But I'm so proud again. I'm Mandela Barnes, your nominee for Lieutenant Governor. And proud Milwaukee native. And I am proud to be running with Tony Evers, who will be the next governor of the state of Wisconsin. Now, I know a lot of people, they look at Tony Evers and myself and they say, how are these two young guys going to get it done? I will remind you that Tony Evers and I, our average age is 48 and a half years old. But the thing is, I guess I'll go back to that piece because with Sarah, Josh, and I, we have 3 candidates running statewide under the age of 40. And in a year where youth voter turnout is so important, in a year where the woman vote is so important, in a year that we realize that the votes of people of color are important, we have an opportunity to elect a slate that reflects the diversity in not only this state but this country. And we should all be so proud of that opportunity because you're not going to find that on the other side. You're going to find that right here with us, and we have a commitment, and we will not disappoint you. I can tell you that. But back to the whole point about Tony, someone who's dedicated his entire career to public service, not in the interest of himself like our governor, in the interest of our children. Tony is someone who started out in the classroom. He's a teacher, he's a principal, and he is our current superintendent of public education. And I'll say that Tony has won 3 statewide elections before, and on November 6th, Tony Evers is going to remain undefeated. So this campaign that we're running, in this race, we are talking about restoring hope and opportunity across our state. And it is important for us to talk about our plan to move this state in the right direction, because we only have 11 days to go, and we can't talk about all the things that Scott Walker's done wrong in that short amount of time. What we can talk about is our plan to fully fund our public schools once again. What we're talking about is our plan to expand healthcare access to everybody across the state of Wisconsin. We are committed to taking the Medicaid expansion to cover 77,000 more people in the state and to make sure that the 2.4 million people in the state of Wisconsin with a pre-existing condition will have access to quality and affordable health care. Tony and I share this belief that our Department of Natural Resources should probably have a few scientists there, right? We share this belief that we have to protect our environment for future generations. We share a belief that our governor does not seem to have, that clean air, safe drinking water is a human right. So if you're ready for change, and if you're ready for a difference, not only will you show up to vote, you'll bring your friends, your family members, and your neighbors out to vote. And if you've already talked to your friends, your family members, and your neighbors, we got to talk to some strangers and get them to vote. See, this election is far too important to sit on the sidelines. And I don't just say that because I'm on the ballot. I say that because we live in a world where Donald Trump is the president of the United States of America. I say that because we're frustrated with what's going on in the White House. We are frustrated about what's going on in Congress. We are frustrated about what's going on with our Supreme Court. We need to vote like we're frustrated. In this race, we will win this race when we get those Obama no-show voters. Those are our swing voters, the Obama no-show voters, people who voted in 2008 or 2012 but didn't show up in 2016. And we are working to make sure that we correct those mistakes that were made, because we heard loud and clear. We learned a valuable lesson about what it means when we don't work to engage communities in the way that we should. And that's why we're talking about the real issues. We're not just running against Scott Walker. People have lived under this administration for the last 8 years, 7.5 years. We know full well who Scott Walker is. We know that the governor leads with his own ambition. We know that Governor Walker has yet to put us first, especially here in the city of Milwaukee. But I can tell you right now, a new day for Wisconsin is here. Not only are we campaigning in every county, we're sure that we're campaigning in every community, making sure that all voices are heard, making sure that people are no longer feeling left behind, because that has been going on for far too long. People's voices have not been heard in all parts of this state. And if you look at income inequality in Wisconsin, because the governor talks about a low unemployment rate, but we know much better than that. We know that far too many people are working multiple jobs just to get ahead. We know that people have not seen a wage increase in years. And that's why we're committed to raising the minimum wage in the state of Wisconsin. If you work hard, you should not live in poverty. If you work hard, you deserve access to quality and affordable health care. Every community deserves a great school to send their children to. So what I need you to do, because like I said, I know everybody in this room plans to go out and vote, but I'm going to give you a few reasons to vote. We need to vote for the people who can't vote. As we know, in the state of Wisconsin, we have the highest rate of black male incarceration. And myself, as someone who was born on 26 and Locust, right in the heart of the 53206 zip code, we are the state's poorest and the nation's most incarcerated zip code, which is a shame. It is a travesty. We spend $1.5 billion to send people to prison in the state of Wisconsin. $1.5 billion. That is more money than we spend on the entire UW system. That means our priorities are mismatched. And I'm here to tell you that an Evers-Barnes administration will prioritize education over incarceration. So for the people who have gone through our criminal justice system and have lost their right to vote, I need you to show up and vote for them. I need you to show up to vote for our undocumented brothers and sisters who do not have the right to vote. I need you to vote for the school children all across this state who want to live in an America that's free of gun violence. And finally, I need you to vote like you want Barack Obama to be your president again. So now it's my time to introduce a history maker, a change maker, a difference maker, my Congresswoman, your Congresswoman, our Congresswoman, the dynamic Congresswoman Gwen Moore. And joining our Congresswoman will be two new members of Congress from the state of Wisconsin. Dan Cole, who will send Jim Sensenbrenner home. And a man who needs no introduction, Randy the Iron Stash Bryce. Congresswoman Gwen Moore, take him away. Thank you so much.
Well, welcome to North Division High School. They told you today, when you came to North Division, that you are going to get to see the president, right? That's why you guys were lined up for hours, right? Well, guess what? 50 years ago, I was the president of North Division High School, and here I am. Y'all ain't gonna be mad at me. We're gonna have the real person coming up. But before, there are a couple of items. I have the pleasure of standing here with people that are going to be my newest colleagues, the only thing you have to do to make that happen, and I know some of you, all of you aren't from Milwaukee, is to go out and vote. There literally are more of us that share our democratic values than there are people who want to give the top 1% all of their money. All we have to do is show up and vote, and we can change things. And here's some of the things, and the thing that we need to change the most is the concerted effort of the Republicans to not cover those folks who are ill and have pre-existing conditions. You know, and everybody over 30 got a pre-existing condition. I can guarantee you that. I'm telling you, I mean, you should see my medicine cabinet. And so what I want you to know is that I have served in Congress with Paul Ryan, he says that he was just dreaming in college to undermine Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid. Randy Bryce is going to be a different vote and voice. Dan Cole is running against Glenn Grothman. They didn't give me enough time to tell you all the reasons that you shouldn't vote for Glenn Grothman. They did not. But I tell you, one of the main reasons is he too has voted over 50, 60 times to undermine Obamacare. And he is also someone who wants to break labor rights. Yeah. Come on up here. Tell me, Dad. You know.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
The hard and cold truth.
Yep. And so, but there are other reasons that they're up here. With this young lady I have not introduced, Adekola Adedapo. She's a blues and jazz singer in Milwaukee.
I am not running for office.
And she's not running for office. You don't have to vote for her. But she's up here to keep me from being embarrassed because I like to sing and I can't sing. So Randy and Dan are going to be my backup singers. Come on up here.
Right.
Come on, get close. And Adekola, can you teach people part of this song?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, now this is y'all's part. First of all, anytime you hear us going into Scott Kevin Walker Blues, let's try it. Scott Kevin Walker Blues. Good. Now, here we got this part for you. Haven't you heard the news? If we want Scott Walker to leave us, got to vote for Tony Evers and get rid of Scott Kevin Walker Blues.
All right.
Y'all got it? Y'all got it?
All right. So we're gonna work with it. They say they're not gonna give us the hook. She's not here today, otherwise she'd be. But Scott Walker, I'm the only person in the election. This is the last time I'm going to use that applause line because we're going to replace him. We're going to repeal and replace. But I mean, this guy has given me such a trouble over the years. He ran against me in 1990 for the assembly. He has deprived us of our voting rights. He's closed down clinics. He's not taking the Medicaid expansion, y'all. It's time. It's nation time. It's time to get out and vote. So, I got the blues, and so I'm going to sing it to you. Well, I'm singing this song 'cause Scott done me wrong. I got the Scott Kevin Walker Blues. Lord have mercy, I scream and I shout 'cause I got the Scott Kevin Walker Blues.
Well, you know you need to be strong, though it's so hard to get along with the Scott Kevin Walker Blues. minute, y'all. Scott cut $800 million from the public schools. Now he wants us to vote for him. Does he think that we are fools? I got more. I went to the technical college trying to learn a trade. But Scott Walker's multi-million-dollar cut leaves me unskilled and underpaid.
Lord have mercy, y'all. Haven't you heard the news?
I scream and I shout, 'cause I got the Scott Kevin Walker blues. Go ahead, Gwen, you got this one.
Well, you know you need to be strong.
Though it's hard to
get along with the Scott Kevin Walker blues. Hey, y'all, listen to me now. Got a pre-existing condition, asthma, diabetes, and gout. Scott went to court with the insurance company so they could throw me out. Lord have mercy, y'all. Haven't you heard the news? I scream and I shout 'cause I got the Scott Kevin Walker blues.
I'm a low-income working woman, old age and all ill. Scott denied Medicaid expansion, and I can't afford my pills. Wait a minute. Been unemployed for 2 whole years. When Scott gave tax breaks to the rich, I just broke down in tears. Lord have mercy, haven't you heard the news? I scream and I shout 'cause I got
the Scott Kevin Walker blues.
You got the next one?
Well, they keep telling me to be strong, but it's just too hard to get along with the Scott Kevin Walker blues.
All right, we got one more.
Walker's policies for women are just no good. He repealed equal pay for women and closed many of women's health clinics. Oh, gonna end this tune on a note of hope. We ain't gotta take it no more. We can get out and vote. Oh, Lord have mercy now. Haven't you heard the news? If it wants Scott Walker to leave us, we gotta vote for Tony Evers and get rid of the Scott Walker blues.
One more time.